Today, we will look at and jump into the event that changed the lives of two men in Tulum, Mexico, known as the Cenote Kalimba diving accident. The Cenote Kalimba Cave is about 8 kilometers or 5 miles outside of downtown Tulum. It is a relatively shallow cave with an average depth of 10 meters or 33 feet. This moderate flow cave system has multiple different systems attached to it. With the flow of the water going in the southeast direction from Cenote Kalimba to the Gran Cenote, this cave has miles of passages for divers to sift through. The fateful dive occurred on November 14, 2018. There were 4 teams of divers planning to dive at Cenote Kalimba that day. The group in question was 2 German-born divers. Diver 1 of this group was certified as a full cave diver in 2012. He had visited Mexico several times before and had approximately 150 to 200 cave dives of experience. Diver 2 was certified as a full cave diver in 2015. It was his second time in Mexico, and he had approximately 50 to 70 cave dives of experience. Both divers were comfortable and experienced in using their specific dive setups, which consisted of 2 side-mounted cylinders with 1 additional stage tank as backup. All information for this story was pulled directly from the official incident report authorities would do afterward. Arriving in Mexico specifically to dive at and film the Cenote Kalimba Cave, this group entered the water mid-morning at 10:30 a.m., and their exact dive plan was unknown. As they swam deeper into the cave, they noticed that they were swimming with the current, which the pair did not think much of. But when cave diving, some divers will only dive in a cave in which they will have to swim into the current when descending, so that when they turn around, it'll be much easier to exit as they will have the current helping them out. These groups of divers that were diving that day in the cave were doing the exact opposite, so when they were returning out, they would be swimming against the current. This team of German divers will be referred to as Team 1. The other 3 teams' dive plans were as follows. Team 2 and 3 planned on diving towards Box Chen, which included a left at the T intersection at the Kalimba mainline and a right at the next T intersection. Team 4 planned on doing the bypass towards Cenote Pabalani, which includes a jump line right after the BOA restriction and a right at the next T intersection. Team 2 was in the water about an hour after Team 1 left the staging area. Once underwater, Team 2 noticed stage tanks left at 15 minutes penetration and what they assumed to be Team 1's cookies, which are markers divers leave to know where they turned off the main line. These cookies were marking the Kalimba exit side of the first T intersection. Team 2 would see no further markers or any other jumps installed as they dived towards Box Chen. When Team 2 surfaced, Team 1 still hadn't. The staging area at Kalimba and the pool was completely empty. Knowing they certainly should have surfaced before them, a member of Team 2 grabbed more gas and dove back into the water to go check the Gran Cenote exit to see if they had surfaced there. Not finding the divers of Team 1 at the Gran Cenote side of the cave, he quickly returned to Kalimba. Once he got back, he saw that they had still not surfaced. He then hurried back to a local dive shop to raise alarm. This was approximately at 2:30 p.m., a whole 4 hours after Team 1 dipped under the water. A rescue and recovery team was quickly put together. Jeff Clark arrived at Kalimba first, confirmed the missing divers, and called in for more diving help. Kim Davidson and Johan Isaacson quickly arrived with their dive gear. Other locals arrived as well, including a man by the name of Paul. By this time it was clear that if the divers had not surfaced in another cenote, this would be a body recovery. Robbie Schmittner trekked to the other nearby cenotes to confirm whether they had surfaced in one of those. In the meantime, 2 teams prepared to enter the water to start the search. The dive plan of Team 1 was still unknown at this time, but there had been talk of a dive involving the Lithium Sunset section. Based on this and the fact that the first T intersection was marked, but that no markers or jumps had been found by Team 2, who had dived on the right side of the T intersection, Search Team A was tasked to search the left side of the T intersection, while Search Team B went to the right. The plan of Search Team A was to follow the main line, traverse all the way to Gran Cenote, and Holtul. Search Team B would take the right side of the T intersection and dive the Lithium Sunset section until it connected to the main line coming from the left side of the T intersection. Search Team A, Johan and Kim, entered the water at 5:30. Search Team B, Jeff and Paul, entered the cave approximately 15 minutes after. The stage tanks of the missing divers were found on the main line at 15 minutes penetration, clipped to the main line and with 115 and 105 bars in them. At the T intersection, the cookie of one of the missing diver 2, was left marking the exit side towards Kalimba. The search team took a left turn at the T intersection and proceeded on the main line. No markers or installed jumps were seen passing the circuit to Much's Maze or the jump to Lithium Sunset. 2 cookies from Diver 1 were found in the silt on the floor next to the line just past the jump towards the Lithium Sunset exit. Further ahead, a few meters off the line, a handheld light carried by Diver 1 was found on the cave floor. Upon reaching the jump at Paso de la Huerta at approximately 15 minutes dive time, Diver 1 was found. He was dead. He was found about halfway between the Kalimba and the Gran Cenote main lines, headed in the direction down the line towards Gran Cenote. There was no jump installed to connect the 2 main lines, and after connecting the jump line, proceeded towards Cenote Kalimba. On the way was where Diver 2 was found, dead on the floor at approximately 55 minutes dive time. He was just past the end of the line at the gap between the Cenote main line and the Kuzan Na section. Having confirmed the deaths and locations of the missing divers, Search Team A exited towards Kalimba to inform the waiting authorities and to plan for body recoveries. Total dive time for the search was about 2 hours. The body recovery was scheduled for the next morning. Local authorities arranged access from Cenote Kalimba, and a team of 3 entered the water for documentation and recovery. This was successful and uncomplicated with a total dive time to recover the bodies of less than an hour. Forensic analysis of the equipment revealed no malfunctions or any likely cause of the accident. All regulators and tanks were in working order when tested after the accident. Both divers used equipment suitable for cave diving, including line markers and safety equipment such as wet notes, line cutters, backup lights, etc. In the recovered wet notes, text in German was translated to say, "Is Gran Cenote okay?" with a response of, "No matter where, get us out," and the obvious mention of the same destination. In the diver's wet note, there was also a further discussion about stage tanks, with the text in German translating to, "What about the stages?" But it is unknown if this pertains to that dive or a previous one. In the initial report, authorities speculated that navigational error or gas management errors were the probable reasons for the fatalities. The presence of the discussion in the wet notes, as well as the dive log confirmations of the total dive time, eliminates navigational error. It was a conscious choice to head for the Gran Cenote exit. Since the divers were both wearing mounted cameras, the videos gave much insight. The time gap between the last recorded video and the divers perishing doesn't leave enough time for any significant navigational error to occur. Post-accident analysis of the equipment revealed no sign of malfunction, which makes a loss of gas due to free flow and faulty tanks unlikely. The most likely remaining cause is diver error with regards to gas management. Given that video recordings were still rolling with no signs of distress at the 93-minute mark, and that both divers perished at 127 minutes, with all 4 side mount tanks empty, authorities made the following assumptions with regards to the gas consumption and awareness. 1. The usage of gas in the divers' side mount tanks was planned to be in thirds. A third of their tank for entry, a third of their tank for exit, and a third of their tank for some extra time in between. 2. The report believes that one diver, knowingly or not, passed thirds at the turnaround spot and or on the return. 3. The diver notified his buddy just after the jump out of Much's maze, causing the wet note discussion and the choice to head towards Gran Cenote. 4. Distress caused a rapid increase in breathing and gas usage beyond the decision to change exits. And 5. That a gas share situation occurred at some point during the exit where Diver 2 notified Diver 1 of the critical gas reserves around minute 103, and that they, after discussing, decided to head for the exit at Gran Cenote/Ho-Hole. This decision to change exits was likely influenced by the characteristics of the cave passage. With the downstream tunnels being larger and with no restrictions, it was much easier and quicker to continue downstream with the flow. Furthermore, rapidly increasing gas use caused Diver 1 to share gas from one side mount tank once Diver 2 had almost depleted his. When gas from the shared tank ran out, the team separated, with Diver 2 using what remained in his tanks and Diver 1 breathing down what remained in his sole tank, perishing at the jump from Paso de la Huerta. In conclusion, the final report noted that fatalities were caused by diver error, more to the point, failure to obey proper gas planning. The key contributing factors were a failure to observe the rule of thirds, either knowingly or unknowingly. The divers made multiple mistakes that led to low gas and their eventual death. This should be a great reminder that gas you can't reach is gas you can't use. It is better to be more conservative with your gas and to abide by your air consumption calculations to remain safe. Rest in peace to the German divers that perished that day. That is the story of the Cenote Kalimba diving accident. If you want to hear more scary, fascinating stories, make sure to check out last week's video.